Hello and welcome to Shelley's Sacred Space. This is our Tarot Tidbits. We are looking at card number 5, the Hierophant, and card number 6, the Lovers. We're using the Rider-Waite deck, the Radiant version, the 5th Spirit Tarot, the Somnia Tarot, and the Green Witch Tarot. So let's get started. So the Hierophant is associated with traditions, education, guidance, trust, trusting your intuition. It's about teaching, and I said education. It can also be about false traditions, false prophets, abuse of the position, and breaking down of traditions. So again, depending on what cards are around it, will depend on the actual meaning of that card. The similarities that we can see in these cards are pillars. Each one has pillars. These pillars represent tradition versus freedom. So your traditional ways of doing it versus your free will, your free spirit, right? You will find in the Rider-Waite, it has some symbols in regards to traditional religion. So the gentleman on the throne actually looks a lot like a priest. The cross is the connection with spirituality, same with the hand going up. The two gentlemen at the bottom are monks who are listening to and trusting their leader. And the keys are a representation of the ability to access this knowledge that the priest has. In the 5th spirit, we have more of a teacher. And she holds the keys to the knowledge that will help you grow and learn. Some of this knowledge could be hidden in the many books behind her, but she's aware of it all. The indication is that you trust that she's going to teach you what you need to know. Now, this one, Somnia, we have the two pillars. They're the urns, plant urns. What I really like about this one, you have the halo around the head, which indicates the spiritual connection again, so that it's not just your thoughts, but it's thoughts coming in from a greater resource. What's interesting in it is that the fact that it's faceless, which a lot of the pictures will be. But I like that aspect because you don't know where that information's coming from, in the sense of you never know what will give you that knowledge. It could be a stranger, it could be a teacher, it could be yourself. So anyone can be in this position, which is very interesting. And then we have the Green Witch, and they've marked the Hierophant as the High Priest, which I really like because we have the High Priestess. This is the balancing of that with the High Priest. Again, he is someone who's knowledgeable, creates through the magic that he knows. So the pillars represent tradition and freedom. The keys are the symbol of knowledge and the ability to access it. In the High Priest, he has the triple crown. This one had the halo. He has a crown. That represents a connection with body, mind, and soul. The red robe represents authority, and both of these cards have a red robe. It's your authority, it's your status. The white robe or the white backgrounds represent the purity in its positive form. It is the purity of spirit and information and intuition that comes to you, that you're taught. You learn that through a respected source that you have trust in, and that you trust yourself to know the respected source that's right for you. Depending on the cards that surround it or its position, if you read reverse, it can indicate more about the mistrust, you not having enough faith, the leader abusing their power, a teacher not having the knowledge base that they need and not helping you as they should, false prophet, misuse of the magic. And it doesn't have to be misuse either. It can be a lack of knowledge that they're presenting that they have, but they don't. It's a card about discerning the truth for you and learning and being educated and making sure that that is connecting with what you're meant to learn. For me, it's about not having blind faith. Okay, so that is the Hierophant, education, faith. Our next card is card number 6, the Lovers. The Lovers card can represent partnerships. Doesn't have to be romantic, but it is a connection of two into one. So even if it's a business partner, it's a connection of two people creating one business. It can be lovers, surprise. It can also represent self-love, because in order to truly love somebody, you need to love yourself and know how that person needs to love you. If you don't have that knowledge, you both are just kind of hanging out and learning about each other. And that does happen a lot of times. That's the way it happens. But when you come with that self-assuredness, if you've done that work, you can have a much deeper connection because of the knowledge that you have about what you need and what you require from somebody else. Enough said. So we're looking at love, harmony, peace. We can also be looking at disconnection, isolation. We're looking at masculine and feminine energies, not just male and female. I'm going to start with this one. We have some of the symbols are the trees. One is the burning tree and one is the fruit tree. So the burning tree is representing the tree of life and spirit. The tree with the fruit is about temptation. It's a reference back to the Garden of Eden. Again, there's a lot of Christianity symbols in the Rider-Waite. And then the angel or heaven represents divine protection. We're looking at blessings from spirit. So this is a union that's approved. So in here, we have the fruit. We have the rope, which when I first look at it, it kind of reminds me of the snake. But even if you look at it as a rope, it's binding the two aspects, your inner self and your outer self, and knowing each other, growing and learning, and then having spirit lead the way with the flames on the tree. This one is interesting. I love this one. And you can't see it very clearly because it's dark, but he is holding on to scissors. Their hands are tied, and she has a fruit behind her back. They both have the representation, and in the tree on her side, there's a rope that's very snake-like. And then the ladder would represent the connection with the spirit world. And finally, we have the Lord and the Lady. What's interesting here is you have the masculine and the feminine. What I like about it is they both carry weapons, so it's not like he's the only provider. And she actually is leading, looking back to him, and he's following. They both have animals. which also have to get along, which is interesting. And then her gown has the flowing part down here, which is the connection with emotion. We have the symbols, which is the connection to heaven, the angel. We have the burning tree or the flames. We have the fruit. That is the Lover's card in a nutshell. So again, it's about more than just connecting to another person. It can be about connecting to yourself, knowing yourself, so that you're able to share your whole self with somebody else. It can be business or friendship or soulmate. It can be a lover. It can be an aspect, even. So if you have two businesses, so if you're doing a business spread and the lovers comes up, it could be that there's two businesses amalgamating and they have a lot of work to do to get to that one place, that one spot. But it is being encouraged, or it is, depending on the cards around it, it can mean that it's a positive merging and it's going to go relatively well. Or it could mean that there's a lot of work that has to be done and that there's a disconnect happening. So again, depending on whether you read reverse or just looking at the cards around it, will indicate which aspect we're looking at, whether it's the connection end or the disconnect end. Thank you for joining me. The next two cards that we'll be looking at is card number 7 and card number 8. That's the Chariot and the Strength card. We'll see you then.